a creature who amazes me called Darth Maul. Darth Maul is a red and black being with a ring of small horns right round his head. That is exactly what the cheetah woolly look like. Some have got ordinary heads without any horns on their heads. These are the lesser cheetah wool. But the royal cheetah wool have got a ring of sharp horns all around their heads. And the very high cheetah woolly, like their king, Mubaba Samahongo, they have got very long horns which grow this way. Not that way like a bull, but this way like certain antelopes. Now, I just wonder where these film producers get their information from. And in one strange films, which my student called me to come and watch, the thing called Stargate II. Mm-hmm. And in that films, there was a creature, a very slimy, cream-colored creature with heavy wrinkles on its face. It was a spitting likeness of Mubaba Samahongo, the terrible emperor of the cheetah wool.
Well, clearly there's a tremendous amount of knowledge of what's been going on and what is going on, which comes out symbolically through films and areas of communication like Hollywood. But the thing that I'm totally stunned the more I talk to you about this is because I've been all over the world having people give me descriptions of seeing reptilian type figures, particularly people in positions of power in the world, changing into a reptilian figure and coming back again. And what they describe seeing is
subscribe
exactly
button here
what
on this page
the
and share it on your Facebook,
Africa
Twitter,
talks about.
and
So we're
Instagram
talking about
account.
the same
Share it on social media all over this historic movement and indeed this critical hour that we're going through as the Holy Spirit unveil the living dead here with us at Divine Intervention, Debbie Jones Ministries.
activity going on that's isolated to his face, and which happens to this individual as well over here, who at times gives him a very ominous look, or a very suspicious look, almost as if to be like, dude, your shit's falling out, you know. He gives him just a very strange look. You could see here the indentation above his right eye. There's a lot of miscoloration in the skin tone. The texture at times becomes almost fluid-like. Yeah, we'll get into it here.
Who live on 4th Street to stay in their homes.
It's a little delayed, so I ask you bear with me. Here's the next frame. We can see again with the ridged eyelids, or the eyebrows, they're very segmented and ridge-like. We see the depression above the right eye.
Contact an officer
Or the two depressions rather above the right eye.
on scene if they need
Here it gets worse. It gets a little bit more degraded. Yeah.
to leave their home. An officer will then escort them out of the area.
Here on this individual too, you can see the slit pupil starting to take effect on his, I guess, deputy. Very strange.
Residents are asked to call 911 if they see anything suspicious. This is a tragic day for the Vapor City Police Department.
Alright, here's the next frame. We can see it's even become more decayed. See where his left eye is. It's completely unrecognizable. I mean, it resembles nothing of what a normal human eye should look like. The texture of the skin has just been completely destroyed, for lack of a better word. You know, it's just completely anomalous. Camera can pick up a lot of strange things. I mean, you know, the camera doesn't possess any type of belief structure or manipulated perception, so therefore it sees things as it is. That's why we can see ghosts and, you know, all type of anomalous happenings that the normal human eye can't pick up because of said belief structure, or, you know, the prescribed reality that we've been conditioned to interpret and perceive. Alright, we'll get a little bit further into this. And I just want you to take note. Look at the proximity of the eyes to one another. You know, through all the jumbled mess, you could still see that it's the basic shape, or, you know, the distance between the eyes hasn't changed. So, just take note of that.
Want to reassure
Alright, then it resets itself.
residents that we are doing.
Okay, now look. Look at the proximity of the eyes. We can see the distance between the two eyes has increased, and on the right eye, his eyebrows almost become, it's like a big gash almost, or an indentation, and the pupil has become completely anomalous. And then below that, we can see his mouth cuts off, and it almost looks like the mouth continues around the jaw. We can see on the jaw, the cheek area, it's become completely miscolored and just very strange looking. He almost looks like that creature from the Goonies.
Everything we can to keep the residents and Draper safe.
It gets a little worse. The eyes become a little bit further apart. And as I was saying before, if you look in this region right here, it almost looks like the mouth continues or wraps around the jaw. It elongates. And look at the ridges in the forehead, how they cut off. All the while, this guy's still looking at him like, dude, get your shit together, bro.
You see how the holograms around these people, these are just actors, and they're reptilians. Take a look at that guy. I believe they're doing this on purpose. What you're seeing is on his forehead right there, see the bulges? You're seeing birefringence. It's a light refraction and it bends the light. And it makes the light bend, and that's when you see that the bumps come through. And when that light bends, you see the actual person behind it. What they are is just reptilian. They look greenish or brownish. You can see his eyes right here. I mean, his eyes are so big. He's transforming right in the middle of this. I had caught him in the middle of transforming because I was looking at another guy. But I can, let's take a look at this guy a little bit back and forth and see if we can see anything weird. All right. Keep an eye on that eye. I mean, that's weird, right? I mean, look at that. There you see some liquid crystal polarization. You see it breaking apart? That's just a picture. He's got a screen around his head. It's some kind of canvas or something they use. It's a tight screen. It's a green screen. And that's how they portray their hologram on the canvas. And when it breaks up, you see the white liquid from the LCD. That's all that is. What it is just a picture in front of an object, and they take the form of a human. So, guys, there it is, right there in front of you. There's the people right there behind it. His eyes wide open. Look, he's a draconian. He's not a human being. Hey, see how the light and the white right there is a hologram. See his nose is white. It'll just fall right off. I mean, what's really behind is what you're seeing. Take a little bit further on him. I mean, that's what he looks like right there. Okay, that's what he's supposed to look like. You know what I mean?
We got through that. We got through that. Yeah. And have you...
Now, this is the guy I wanted to talk about right here. We'll go back to the other guy, but this is the guy I wanted to talk to. His name is Mr. Singleton. He's talking for the Vietnam veterans and telling the kids to get the hell out of there. But he's part of the act. And the kids that he's telling to get the hell out of there are actors. If you understand, there's a movie line inside the line here. You can't cross that line. People try to cross it once if you're a citizen or resident. You'll be told to stay back. Why? Because it's media. And why? Because they're faking it. Even the people in the secondary media are complaining to me, saying this is an act because they can't even get up to the front of where CNN is putting on this show. It's just a prop. It's a setup, man. I'm telling you, everything that you see out here, all these people in New York, they don't even know who they're really doing this for. If they knew who they were doing it for, it's not just for Freddie Gray. It's to divide and white and black people divide and conquer what they always do. This works all the time in the media for these people. Well, we're going to look at this guy real quick. Let me see what we got here. I believe it's coming up, but I don't know. I'm not sure. All right, here we go. Going back. We're going to take a look at him. He's shifting off the screen, too, and I can get him up here and show you. This Mr. Singleton, the Vietnam guy, is shifting like crazy. I caught up to him a little bit there after this. Here we go.
Last night you were back.
Watch this guy, dude.
On the streets.
Look at his face and his nose. Alright. This is the same guy who was just talking to Anderson Cooper. Okay? Same dude. Okay? What you're seeing is the picture around his mask is just breaking down. And it really looks like it's a 3D hologram. He really looks like he's got ears and everything. It's just this mask around his head, and I'll show you again. As you increase the voltage in these televisions, these low-def TVs are not helping them. Look at these low-def cameras they're using on the HD channel. Does that make any sense to you? Not at all. I think they're trying to show us something.
How you doing, everybody? I'm just going to get right into this. I did an original footage analysis of this footage a while back, and for some reason, at around almost 1 million views, it was taken down for no good reason whatsoever, for no particular reason. It wasn't copyright infringement issues or anything like that, or they didn't notify, at least they didn't notify me as to any copyright infringement. So it was just taken down. So they could take it down, we'll put it right back up. So I just want to show you how this anomaly with his mouth here, which this appendage, I call it an appendage. I mean, most people say, oh, it's his tongue, it's just a shadow. No. This looks like a pincer-like appendage, reminiscent of, I don't know if you guys have ever seen those little insects called earwigs. They're pincers at their lower abdomen. They have these two pincers, and It reminds me of one of them in one of the two pincers, and you can see as it gets worse here, or goes into it, you can see it become more defined. And you know, we'll watch it disappear just as quickly. If it was the tongue, it would, you know, you'd be able to define it as the tongue. It's not a tongue, at least not in this universe. See, you could see his tongue start to come up here. You could see this is clearly outside of the realm of where his tongue is entering the scene here. So, boom, and then it just disappears, and then you can see his tongue touch his lip here like that, and just merge with his lip as the chin becomes more degraded and decaying flesh almost. And then you can see what his original lip color, I guess, of, you see how his lips here, this is pretty much the same general color. It drops out, but it continues here. It doesn't drop out here, and you can see, watch. Also, I want to note the eye color change as well. In the beginning of the video, he starts off having, you know, both the same color eyes. I don't know if they were blue or brown, but both the same color eyes, and at this point his eyes are changing back and forth, blue and brown. I had a viewer leave a comment saying, oh, it's heterochromia, you know, that's all fine and dandy, but you know, heterochromia is more of a fixed thing. It doesn't change over seconds. It's usually something that someone's born with, which is, heterochromia is pigment variation in either or eye. See, and now his bottom teeth here are complete. You can see just before that they were incomplete, or almost, I don't know, various frames throughout this footage you could see his teeth look good, and then his bottom row looks like they were bashed out with a wrench. You know, I don't know which one it is, but see, now look at his teeth here. You can see the texture change and the green hue. I want to show you his ear throughout a couple courses of the frames. You can see his ear takes on a plastic-like look, and the green hue just becomes so defined and so evident. And the man looks like, the individual looks like he's under duress and distress, you know, like he's uncomfortable and going through some type of shit, you know. He just doesn't look natural. It doesn't look, I don't know. There was a saying that I heard, what's even more stranger than the shape-shifting is those who don't notice it. So I always found that saying quite interesting. The original video too, I put a theory down that I thought when all the cable networks had gone over to HD in 2009, that it was the implementation of a better shape-shifting, obscuring program, or masking program, if you will. You know, just throwing a theory out there, you know. But I guess that program is starting to break down more than ever now, and I guess it's showing us even more defined shifts. Possibly a program that was meant to obscure it is now making it more evident than ever. Look at the texture change in his chin here. I also want to show you something with the hands here. There's some very interesting things going on with the hands. In a couple seconds we'll take a look. I don't want to make this too long. We'll get right to it. Just watch how it coalesces here. The eye color change is very evident to it in some frames. Look here, you can see, you start to see how one's clearly brown and the other one's clearly blue. And then there's instances where they're both the same color. Blue and brown. Look at the ear. Look at that thing. You can see the mouth piece go back to normal. Alright, the hand part's going to be coming up soon, so. Alright, let's pay attention to the hand now. Alright, start to pay attention to the outer limits of his hand, of what is his physical hand here, but you can see sort of like an almost what's reminiscent to me of like an energy field or something, or some type of, just for lack of a better term, we'll call it his etheric hand for now. But we'll see that where his normal hand or his physical hand, what seems to be physical here, merge with this outline here, and the outline becomes more evident and defined throughout the frames. But look at the shape of the hand here, you know, and look at the nail. It's very ogre-like, or even reptilian, if you will. Not claw-like how we see it in the George Cavassalis video, when you can see at one point a clear, distinctly defined claw manifest. It's just very broad. You can see it change over time. Look at it now. And it doesn't really correspond with his hand here. You can see it's just a jumbled mess. And then it starts to go away. Boom! And then it merges. And then here you can see this as if it's not fully taken shape yet. And you can still see massive color variations. Look at, I mean, look at the background here is black, but this is clearly green. I mean, it's just a big mess. And for those of you who have stuck with me this long, 7-8 minutes in, I appreciate it. See, very interesting things going on with his hands here. But yeah, you can still see the eye discoloration. Yep. There's very anomalous happenings going on with his teeth. And, you know, the source video is in HD too, so, like I said before earlier, we're starting to see a lot more of this happening in HD. A lot of people are like, oh, show me it in HD. Well, bam! Here you go, brother. While you're at it, try to figure out what that white shit on this guy's lip is for me. Unbelievable. Alright. Well, we'll see if this gets taken down for no reason again, for whatever reason. But if they do, I'll just put it right back up.
At this point, I today do not know what it was in fact that we saw. But when we got back to the hotel, the motel that night, Paul said that he, about a half hour, 45 minutes, something like that, after he fell asleep, he woke up totally awake, and something picked him up, actually picked him up and set him up in bed, involuntarily. And the moment he sat up, a light came on over his head like a little dim night light. And he looked up to see an alien's face with the typical alien's face with the bubble eyes, but it was glowing, and you could see through it. You could see the ceiling through it, as if it were a hologram of some kind. And it was glowing, looking at him, and he said it slid across the ceiling, went across the ceiling, hit the wall, and came down to where it was even with him sitting in bed. It went through the wall and disappeared. But Ivy, in my room, was laying so that she could see the door, and she said she saw the glowing on the wall, but she couldn't tell what the light was because it wasn't very bright. And she said, but when she opened her eyes to see the glowing of the light in Paul's room, which was the face on the wall, a little red, tiny little red dot of light came through Paul's room and came in and hovered over her.
The band leader says, how long have you fellas been involved with sorcery? And he shocked us a little bit, and I said, exactly what do you mean? Well, he said, you know, what you people are doing, talking to the supposed spirits of the dead. He says, this is silly.
And this man had been at the seance with you.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And he's telling you that it's silly what you've just done.
Because see, my wife, he says, goes to these seances because she gets comfort and she gets something good out of it, good feeling out of it. And she lives for what the spirits, you know, are going to say that the future is going to be like. To me, he says, I can't bother with this stuff. He says, I want power. I go right to the source of power. And he says, how do you think that I became famous the way that I am? Well, I said, you must have had some good luck. Well, he says, there's no such thing as good luck. He says, there's either some power working for you somewhere, or you don't get ahead in this world. Not in my type of occupation. So it went from there. We got talking about spirit worship.
Did it intrigue you? Or did it make you want to find out more about what exactly he was talking about?
Yeah. So he said the supposed spirits of the dead that you're talking with are demon spirits. They're fallen angels. They're beautiful beings.
Just set it out, just like that.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't make you uneasy when he said they were
Well,
just
you know, it shocked you a little bit, you know. Something that you first hear mentioned to you. He said, you guys have got a great future ahead of you. Because we've been told, the high priest of our society, secret society, has been told that the master has very special plans for you too.
Now, what did he mean by the master?
Satan. And we were interested to hear more about it. And he told us, he says, look, we worship spirits. We worship Lucifer and all his angels. They're just as beautiful as they did before they were cast out of heaven. He says there was a misunderstanding in the whole thing, he says, among the inhabitants of the galaxies. And he says our master was misunderstood.
Your friend, George, took you and Roland to this mansion where people worshipped the demons.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like there? What kind of people were there?
Well, it was a big surprise for me, as I kind of made up in my mind an idea that they were going to be rough-looking characters. But as we entered the place, I was amazed to see that they were all very well-dressed, well-mannered, and that a lot of the people, as we were being introduced to people, were professionals, doctors, attorneys, a lot of business people. And see what they had a praise session to the gods, which is the spirit counselors, which are in charge of legions of spirits.
See what they had a praise session to the gods, which is the spirit counselors, which are in charge of legions of spirits.
Wow. Prince of all mortal wisdom, owl of Bohemia, we beseech thee, grant us thy counsel.
So how did you feel when you walked into that room?
I felt that these people had power, and they had a lot of it.
Did that attract you?
Yes and no.
You had mixed feelings about it?
I had mixed feelings about it, yeah. Because to a certain extent, things looked so good. It sounded so good to us. People believe, that the dead have entered into a higher state of existence than they had when they were alive. Also, that they are in a position and have the capacity to help the living here on earth. See? And you take, for instance, like Loretta Lynn. She says on national television, and I have the data on it, that I heard it myself. She said that she was made successful in her singing career by a dear friend of hers that was the same age as she, and died when she was 18 years of age. And Loretta was trying to get into the singing world, you know, but she says, I had no success at all. Until one night I was sitting in bed reading a book, and she says, who walks right through the wall but my friend, the spirit of my friend? And she says, Loretta, I'm going to make you a very famous person in singing Western country music, and I will be with you all the time. Trust me. Now, the priest explained that when people believe in this business, they are actually opening themselves to be completely deceived by demon spirits, because it gives the demon spirits an opportunity to impersonate the dead. So, who are they talking to? He says, the friendly demon spirits that have always found over the centuries great delight in impersonating apparitions, departed loved ones, and persons of great renown. Then the medium said, we have a very special surprise tonight for you people. A spirit will manifest itself openly here in a few minutes, and it's like a big gust of wind hit the building and right through the wall, and that translucent being seemed to come right out of the wall.
How did you feel right at that moment?
It's almost like my heart stopped a little bit. You know, very weird feeling. It was a lady in a beautiful evening gown, swirling. And she said to Mary, my dear sister, you are so wonderful to have asked for me. And Mary fainted and fell right off her chair on the floor. And a couple of guys jumped up and picked her up, and spirit gone. And that was the beginning of it.
That's how you got into it.
Yeah, that's the way I got into it. After a while, you see, there's something interesting about the human mind. You can adjust to an awful lot of stuff. You can adjust to a lot of things that would terrify you to begin with. After a while, they become common and ordinary.
So you mean contact with the supernatural can become commonplace and ordinary and doesn't bother anybody?
Yeah.
In other words, the more that you do it, you're not uncomfortable.
That's right.
It's just not an uneasy feeling.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about it?
Then I got into a secret society that worshiped the spirits, you see.
Well, okay, now how is that different from the seance, Roger?
click on the subscribe button here on this page and share it on your Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram account. Share it on social media all over this historic movement and indeed this critical hour that we're going through as the Holy Spirit unveil the living dead here with us at Divine Intervention, Debbie Jones Ministries.